Welcome, macro sociology class. Today we're going to investigate one of my favorite topics. We're going to talk about cults. So we're going to talk about who joins, why they join, some of the characteristics of mind control, and what you can do if you know someone that is actually in a cult. What can you do to help them? So who joins a cult? We do, people just like us. Cults don't go after ignorant people. They go after smart people who can work hard. And it's interesting because when people join a cult, they don't sign up and go, oh, I'm joining a cult. People join a cult based on the information that's actually presented to them, that's available to them at the time. So people with a smart IQ are often susceptible, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But cults go after the best and brightest. So people who join the Jim Jones, when you look into that, the 900 people, many of them were very smart, brilliant people. So why do people join cults? Well, it can be associated like an addictive drug in some way. It provides a feeling of well-being. Think about it. We all want to be a part of something. We all want to be connected. A feeling of, people roll. They feel united, connected, right? So it's like people join a cult. It's a feeling of unity. And now it certainly can lead to total dependence, right? And certainly drugs can lead to total dependence. It can lead to a boost in confidence, and drugs can lead to a boost in confidence. It really just meets this human need for us to be desired and loved, and we all want to be needed, right? So it fits that, and that's why cults are so inviting to people. Characteristics of cult include an authoritarian, thank you very much, authoritarian pyramid structure. So somebody's on top, and the structure goes therefore down the hierarchical ladder. There's usually a characteristic, sort of a characteristic type of the person at the top. That authority figure is very charismatic, that leader of the cult. They say they're God, that they can interpret God alone, and it's usually self-appointed, interesting enough. There's often deception in recruitment and funding. There's a lot of isolation and mind control, which is what I was talking about when we said how do you control someone's mind? There's ways and means, and that's called basically milieu control. So milieu is the environment, the venue, and you control that. You're able to control the environment and the communication. If you can control the environment and communication, you can control somebody. You can control their mind. So we use milieu control. We also use mystical manipulation, where God is ever present in the organization. It's God is saying this. It's the workings of the organization. So we have mind controlled hierarchy, mystical manipulation. There's a demand for purity. There's no gray. It's white or black. The world is seen black and white. People are pictured as good and bad, and you're either good or evil depending on your relationship with God. So there's no middle ground. So all of these are the ways that we get somebody, that demand for purity, the mind control, the mystical manipulation, confession. There's lots of confessionals carried beyond its ordinary religious, legal, and therapeutic expressions. We see this a lot in cults. People are told to get up in front of everybody, and you can see this in Jim Jones. There's a sacred science, another characteristic of mind control, meaning that their beliefs, their ideology is the ultimate moral vision. It's too sacred to question. Don't you dare don't you question it, because it's too sacred. And also that there's lots of loading language, like language particular to their own cult. Words are given new meanings. The outside world doesn't understand it, right? There's different names to the higher good or the deity. There's a doctrine over the person, meaning human experience is a subordinate to the doctrine of what they say. and the dispensing of existence. The cult decides who lives, who dies, who has the right to exist, who doesn't. Um, so, who gets dispense of who gets to exist and not. Well, what do you do if you know somebody in a cult? What do you do to a friend or a relative? Well, the first thing you're going to do is inform yourself, inform others. I give you some steps in the PowerPoint, really. I give you some other some resources. But after you inform yourself and inform others, you really got to listen to the person. You have to be supportive rather than confrontational. If you're confrontational, they're going to say, see, just like they told me you were going to do it, you're doing it. So be supportive when they're ready. Make a person maybe aware of what the cult is if you can by information laying around, and look at some of the critical material that's available. Realize that even after they leave, it's just the beginning, right? There's a long recovery process. I invite you to take a look at some of the cults I put on the platform, and look at some of the resources from former cult support survivors. Thanks, and have a great week.